Hey everybody, we're going to do a walk through the farm. We've been a little busy over the last few weeks, and hopefully I'll get you through this before it starts storming, although that's supposed to be hours away. It just looks nasty over there. Anyway, so let's hope I hit the right button and this is working. It is, look at that. Okay, so this is what we call our acre 6. I guess we'd call it the last field in the rotation. Acres 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, so 6. Last year we had the animals on it. This was one of the acres that the pigs and goats were on. And what we did is, we let it go all winter. Everything died down. And then just last week I went out and tilled this. And we put on a cover crop. It's called buckwheat. Buckwheat is what you see there right now. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. That is buckwheat growing. It's honestly, I don't know why it's called buckwheat. But it is covering the field. It will be a cover crop for about 2 months because then we cut it off before it goes to seed again. Otherwise, it would be a weed. And that gets worked back into the soil. And then we're going to put the acre of sunflowers here for hopefully bloom time in September. So that's our cover crop, 2 covers actually in a year crop for that acre, because next year it gets our main acre crop, which is tomatoes and onions and peppers and pretty much everything that isn't corn and viney. Right now, you can see things are a little weedy because everything's green here and it's been raining so much. But if I take a step here, so those are our Walla Walla sweet onions. We will, after it stops raining here, maybe next week, get through here and wheel hoe through there, and then this will also get planted with Rutgers tomatoes down the middle. We've got 3 rows of onions here. These are, I believe these should be our red onions, storage onions. They'll get tomatoes too. These are yellow storage onion. I think these are called Ringmaster. And then tomatoes will go down the center. And then we've got the rest of the beds. I'm going to walk through here. We put some of our really big seedlings in yesterday before the rain because they were just getting overgrown. So all the really big things are in. But other seed, tomatoes and peppers, I don't put in until June because I don't trust the weather anymore. This here, I wanted to comment on. You'll see there's nothing in here. We skipped planting it, except looks like weeds coming up. What this actually is I did this whole bed in white clover. So our normal cover crop between the beds, and you can see it here underneath the velvet leaf. But that's not velvet leaf. Anyway, but the clover ground cover's over there. So once we mow this once, it'll just be clover in between. But this is getting to the final state we want our beds in. This is going to be our first attempt at planting into a cover crop. I want to be able to get all of our fields, for the most part, in clover, with just a little few that need to be tilled so that they can be seeded. But anything that we can transplant into, we will, hopefully this works, we will just transplant into the clover. And this is going to be the first year we actually attempt this, because it's actually a good part of the, on this acre 5, the clover has taken over a good amount already. And then, of course, we had it in cover last year. So you'll see some of the cover coming back because sunflowers. But, so you can see when we take a step back that bed is just taken to the clover. Little spot here that's collecting water, but that's fine. And then we'll see, because, that should be just free food there for those tomatoes or whatever we plant into them. Anyway, here's some more of our overgrown seedlings that we put in. They'll be fine no matter the temperature, really, but I just don't trust the smaller ones. Over that way, we've got some of our hot peppers that were really big already in. We've seeded okra, which is coming up. and then some tomatillos and ground cherries that were really big. Back in acre 4, if you remember, this was going to be our vines, one of our vines and corn acres. And these are the I think the second or third planting of corn. And it's just finally starting to sprout. We can see it hopefully there. If not, it's there. They're all sprouting. We've got peas and beans and radishes coming up. Again, this flush of rain we've had, everything's starting to weed up, but we'll go through and take care of it. We've even got later radishes coming up here. So that's what's going on in this acre. We're slowly seeding in corn, and now this is sweet corn because we won't do the popcorn next to it anymore. We've learned our lesson. I have learned my lesson. And so popcorn's going to go way out there by those sugar maples in acre 3 to keep it as far away from the sweet corn as possible, and planted at different times, so we shouldn't hit the same pollination time at all this year. What else do we got out there? I'm not going to walk over there and make this forever, but out there is I've got some of the larger squash plants that need to go in the field now, and beans, and some other greens we've got out there. So those are growing way out there, and you can see here, oh, what are you talking about, Chris? There's no beds. Yeah, remember, our pathways are hopefully all this white clover. Now there's some seeds coming up, some other things that we don't want there, but I'll give that a good mow, and we'll just have clover in between, and it also spreads into the beds when the animals get moved back on. So speaking of which, so that there that we just walked through is acre 4. Acre 5 back there is sunflowers and popcorn. So sunflowers are starting to sprout a little bit, but nothing else is planted out there. So this is acre 2. Now what is this? This is the first year off of vegetable production, and the goats have decided to destroy their hut, so I'm got to rebuild that, but for now they are still living in it. But you can we see him in there? He's in there. I don't know if we can see them, but they're all laying down in there out of the sun. Anyway, so these were the beds from last year, and a lot of them, up there especially, were seeded in late winter. No, that was late fall, with, what am I talking about, Chris? With turnips. So that up until this week when the wind picked up, that whole field was yellow. It's great. The goats are in there chomping away, but now it's gone to seed, which is fine. We'll let that reseed, and this will be where we're working the pigs throughout the summer, as well as down here. It's just here we left the corn standing until spring, and then cut it, tilled it, and we've got the turnips planted this year growing now, and the goats are loving just nibbling on that. So that's the fields, way up on top, acre 1. We've still got pigs in there. What I did was, it must have been a month ago, maybe, about a month ago. I tilled that all under because they'd really worked that over last year. And we got that seeded in, I want to say mustards because these are mustards, but they're turnips. Got that seeded in turnips, so shortly here we're going to, like I said, put the pigs in this field in smaller sections and move them around while that field fills back in, and then they'll flip over there when that one's filled in and this one needs to recover. We got our tunnel, so what do we got in there? We have it closed because it has been kind of chillier than usual, but then it got really hot, and now we've got the wind, so I'm waiting for that to pass and we'll open it back up. But that's planted with hopefully early tomatoes. I say hopefully because weather, but we've got a bunch of Rutgers in there, and they're about a foot tall, so it's great. Other stuff over here, we've got some zinnias planted, and then these are all you can see sweet corn rows, that the first planting here, that have filled in. So that is the field status today. Halfway through May, I guess, and everything's looking good. Even the weeds, you know, enormous, but it's spring, and we pretty much get rained on every day right now. So I'll talk to everybody soon, and see you later.